What was your mind at 22 and now having your full career? Did you think you were ready at 22?
Well, let me back up. So when I was 9 years old, right, 1972, my father took me to the hospital to visit his partner, Tom Devine, who was sitting in the hospital bed, a rehabilitation center, because he had been shot in the back during a robbery, a drug ripoff in Manhattan. They were doing an undercover deal. They did the money flash. The bad guys tried to take the money and they shot Devine and they killed Frank Tamillo, one of the DEA agents. So I'm sitting there at 9 years old wondering what the hell's going on. This guy's sitting in a bed. He's paralyzed. He has a bullet in his back. So I think in my brain, there was probably something planted. And then, of course, at 13 years old, my father was a bit of a nut. Let's put it that way. He's a legend in DEA. They just dedicated the New York DEA gym in his honor. He's been gone about 10 years. But my father took me out on surveillance on a Saturday night to follow a black fugitive. And I was a young kid in the back seat for hours waiting for some action. He takes me on the trip into Far Rockaway, which is not a very nice area in New York City along the beach. And he sends me and my friend into the building to follow this lady in the elevator, two white kids in an all black neighborhood. He sends us in the elevator to try to follow her and put her in an apartment at 13 years old. Absolutely insane. He used to put me in the back seat, put me under a blanket as he's meeting what he used to call stool pigeons, right? In the old days,
Yeah.
the informants were called stool pigeons. So I was actually probably being trained in my brain as young as 9, 12, 13 years old. And so when I became a college graduate, most kids don't know what the hell they want to do. This was the path for me, and my father knew it. And like I said, I'm very thankful. And I'll tell you, like my evolution in my career and what I'm doing now, so you'll better understand it. Now, one other thing I'll tell you is that my brother was a little bit of a train wreck, let's say, in high school. He was a troublemaker. He was known in the neighborhood, but he had a big heart for America and he joined the U.S. Air Force. Unfortunately, in 2003, he died. He died in one of the first helicopter crashes during Operation Enduring Freedom. So obviously, public service was in our DNA from my father, right? He was dedicated. He took 2 weeks vacation in 30 years. Okay. Absolute lunatic. And obviously, his family suffered from his time away, not taking care of his family and not being there for his family. But um, deep down, he was a great public servant, and the troops loved him.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm also still in the Air Force, so um hats off to your brother. Appreciate his service and sorry that that happened. Unfortunately, that's did his was his helicopter a hit?
No, what happened was he was part of the pararescue unit, right? The elite
Oh,
pararescue.
he was a PJ.
PJ at a 38th
Oh,
Rescue Squadron in Valdosta, Georgia. So he and five others were doing a rescue mission, and it was bad weather, and they crashed into the mountain. It was a refuel operation. It was apparently an accident. Although
okay.
my father, to the day he died, was in denial about that. Like he felt like Mike was on some secret operation and was shot down.
Uh,
Who the hell knows? It doesn't really matter. The end
yeah.
result is six brave Americans died in a helicopter crash and they came back in body bags. So, and they left their families behind. So at the end of the day, they were serving the country. That's what he was doing. He loved
Yeah.
the country. So it is what it is.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, PJs are basically the Navy SEALs for the Air Force. Like that is our elite. They damn, they're pretty much aerial doctors for the most part, and they are always attached to SEAL teams, to Green Beret teams, to any of these special forces units that you're familiar with. There's always usually a PJ with them or two. So yeah, that is not an easy path in the military. So that that alone you should hang your hat on. That's a big deal. So, what was your brother's name?
Michael, Michael Maltz. By the way, on a side note, every year in March around the world, they have what they call the Maltz Challenge. And because the PJs were big time into CrossFit, basically this thing started in 2006 at my old operation. They set this up. It was a CrossFit challenge where the idea was to compete in this CrossFit challenge to honor not only my brother, but anyone that was serving the country that died in the line of duty. So anyway, over the years, it's been spread around. Like right now, like I just got back from not too long ago, the Baltimore Ravens, Under Armour Performance Center, they sponsor it. They hold events in Colorado, the Air Force Academy, Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions. They host this every year in March. And then also around the world, DEA offices sponsor this. And the cool thing about it is every year they nominate new folks that have died in the wars. And it's great for the families. And the best part, honestly, Eric, is that it's not a charity event. You don't pay anything. The idea is that you show up, you try to do the CrossFit challenge, which is almost impossible to do, like 50 pull-ups. Who the hell can do 50 pull-ups, right?
Not me.
And it's all timed. But the cool part is that people show up, and even if they do one pull-up, they're there showing their appreciation and their support to the military and what they've done to keep us all free here in America.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I like that. It's kind of like the Murph. The Murph
Yeah,
is a
same
yeah.
concept. Again, same concept, but again, DEA started this one. Military's been supporting it, and over the years, it's just evolved.